You ever have so much to say you have nothing to say?
Yeah, it's one that...
Number one, there's no doubt that the foundational Black American, so we're talking about those who are with their recent ancestors were a victim of the Mayafa, which is to say that they were ripped from the western part of Africa, brought here in chains, in some cases on a slave ship named Jesus. They were forced to toil, systematically denied education, and now here we are, right?
Yeah.
Those people. Not talking about immigrants from Kenya or Nigeria or Haiti or wherever they came from. We're talking about the ones that their roots go all the way back to the founding of this country, the truest of Americans in the sense that their culture was created in America. Created in America. That's really unique.
Yeah, it's American culture.
Nothing before.
Blacks have their own American culture, exactly. They're pulled out. Most of them have no idea where they're from in Africa, just completely thrown out. And it's hard to rebuild from that. So there is some real...
And you don't need to. You don't even need to go back to all of that. This itself is a big tribe. And, you know, it's important that you mentioned that. I had an employee in the Midwest in Cincinnati, sweetest young lady, and her grandmother is British, not white, British, right? And many folks in the Midwest, they can say we're German. You know, our family's been here for generations, but they go back to Germany.
Yeah.
So anyways, there's a big difference. Anyways, I say all that to say, one, that's who we're talking about. And the number, because there's a lot of blacks just arriving now, and like people are thinking they're
a lot
different.
Of those ones are actually outperforming white people, the ones that are coming over.
Immigrants in general.
That's true.
The whites have fallen. The whites have fallen.
We're not doing the best.
Oh,
we're not doing the
goodness,
best. It's kind of sad.
And I want to talk about that because there's diversity within the white collective, just as there's diversity within the black collective. And I want to talk about like even what the white nationalists or white supremacists are complaining about right now. I think it's bizarre because the most important thing is to clean up your own house. Like you don't even have time to like, you know, go grab your hood and your crosses and get to burning. No, you have other parties within your own house because we're all suffering right now is at the hands of the liberal white woman. That is the most evil figure on earth, but to the blacks.
That's the white woman thing is a very interesting one too. You go either way.
Right, to the blacks. Black culture right now is, I'd say from the 1960s moving forward, so end of 1960s moving forward, we start to see it decline in part due to government policy, in part families being broken down. And we see that the urban black culture, that of the lumpen class, criminality is, you know, respected and prized, and there's logical reasons for that, and we'll talk about it. But we have our lowest class elements, the poor, the criminal, the immoral, are the ones who define culture, and our culture is largely disseminated through hip hop culture and music and entertainment. But there's a weird thing that's going on now, in as much as you have institutions like Netflix and, you know, big media that's not run by blacks, right? Like the music industry is not run by blacks.
They're run by almost always the same people.
Precisely.
Do you think these people have any responsibility in intentionally destroying culture?
I think these people believe that they are the superior people of the earth, and they believe that all others are dogs.
They look at the black, they don't really care if they destroy your culture. People kill each other and have girls twerking. They encourage the worst music, and that's what they push.
And they would destroy all cultures except their own. They think that we should... Right?
I don't think I disagree with you on that.
Yeah, all cultures except their own. So what is happening now, it used to be that inside of the black ghetto, you would have these music forms and language and these trends, and then it would go commercialized with the help of that population you're talking about. They'd make most of the money. Blacks aren't savvy, so, you know, they suffer. But now you're having it where these power players in film, music, and politics, banking, they're now defining what culture is, and they're using black puppets. So they're now actually creating the trends themselves. For example, the blacks had the highest levels of religiosity, mostly Southerners, right? We come from the South because we're enslaved there. And we're Southern Baptists, things like this, high levels of religiosity, which mean that we would also have high levels of being against the LGBTQ, as that's an abomination, as is written in the good book. Now they have made great efforts to take hip hop music, which is all hyper masculine, and they've made it something to where you could accept a gay rapper, which previously was an idea that we could never imagine. So that's clearly our culture is being engineered.
Intentionally being attacked.
Yes. And the blacks' leadership is so bad that, they're largely defenseless. And because they're, as a mass, effeminate, meaning that they're too open, they're accepting, and they're weak, they'll pretty much take anything. They lack identity. They feel inferior. That is a big issue with the blacks. They actually believe themselves to be inferior. And what's worse is many of them are actual white supremacists.
Yeah,
the blacks
they're being brainwashed by a lot of liberals. You hear these liberals saying black people can't get IDs, black people can't. What do I say? Some people say like black people don't know what a computer is, and that's like a liberal person.
I saw that.
Like, what a disgusting racist. My liberal friends tell me this stuff. I'm like, oh, so when you invite your black friends out, you ask if you have an ID, and then they kind of realize how pathetically racist they are. It's wild.
And see, you have the right and the left, and the blacks, they're certain that the right is racist.
Yeah.
And there are people who are racist on the right.
But they're more openly racist, the ones that are.
And I appreciate that. It's honest. Right? It's honest. On the left, they're so deceitful and extraordinarily racist. And they're racist in ways that are the most hurtful and the most controlling. The right, they'll let you be black and maintain your culture. They're just saying, hey, get away from me, which is fine.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Because here's the thing. I don't want poor people living around me. I don't want dangerous people living around me. I don't want dishonest people living around me in whatever color they may come.
Yeah, I grew up in a bad white neighborhood, with trailers and stuff. I got the hell out of there. It's like, it's what you do.
Right.
Almost every black person, as soon as they get money, they leave the area and move around to whiter areas. Or money, at least. It's more money than race.
Yeah, and we remember that blacks are a minority, and for reasons of primitive accumulation, they have less capital. And so, of course, generally when you advance in income level, you're going to advance out of black neighborhoods unless you're in Silver Spring, Maryland, where there's significant black money, or you're in Atlanta, where there's significant black money. I don't like to spend time there because there's a lot of Skittle guzzlers there, and I think that this is an abomination that is coming after our children.
Yeah. Do you get offended when they say black culture and they refer to like hip hop and girls twerking? You find that offensive or no?
Getting offended is not manly or useful. And so I would rather accept the challenge, which the challenge is, what are you going to do? And the reality is that we actually have to take hold of our own communities. And for all we'll say about the Muslims or the Middle East is they have their women in line. And women are not the leaders, and they need to be subject to male leadership. They need to be subordinated to the family as a unit. And that's something that is going wrong in all of the racial categories, especially in the West. And so we must stop these black women from behaving like harlots. It's disgusting. And I think that whatever means is necessary should be utilized.
Yeah, no, the behavior of the women, that's just like, it's bad. But it's partially men's fault for not properly leading.
It's 100% men's fault. And also we have to start calling a spade, which is to say that if you're a single mother, and I don't care what color you are, you're probably promiscuous. You opened up your legs too soon. You gain carnal knowledge of the man before gaining knowledge of, is he responsible? Can he provide? Will he be reliable? All these different things. So we really do need to deal with that.